submarine went down. Your company has authorized the Navy's use of this facility for a rescue.
My people are not qualified for this.
There is something down there. Something not us. Not human. We all see what we want to see. He sees hate and fear. You have to look with better eyes than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, never have I ever gone, I don't know, tens of thousands of feet under the water. I don't care how much bonus you offer me. Never will I ever go tens of thousands of feet below the sea for bonus or not. I'm not doing it, but let's start the show.
Not twice, not thrice. Then what he did, he put another record on.
You need dumb people in horror movies. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that they said that the water was like just below freezing in this movie, but let me tell you, towards the end, I know that inside that little capsule, it was hot as hell. I know it smelled like full mammal. Somebody was farting. I didn't see not one toothbrush. Lord Jesus, I know those windows were foggy as hell. But let me bring in my co-host to share my misery. Doctor, how are you doing? Why weren't you there to help those people get out?
Listen, I, much like yourself, would not be going there. I would have looked at them and said, not for you. I'm not doing it for you.
I don't care how many aliens there are. I'm not going.
Exactly.
Executive consultant. Oh, who's that handsome man behind you? How are you doing, sir?
You know what? It's a new day. It's Thursday. That's the day we tape this. And it's a new day.
All right. Well, enough about the movie. Listen, James Cameron. By the way, I'm beginning to think that James Cameron works for the CIA because he gave us AI. We already covered that twice. He's given us this a couple of years ago, if you remember, the ships coming up out the ocean, okay? He gave us the Titanic. He had a cheat code on that one. What other movie? True Lies? I could see that possibly, not the horse thing over the hotel. The next thing we're waiting for is Avatar. Trump has said several times we have a space force. We must have spaceships somewhere. Are there gigantic blue people? If there are, just send me a picture. That's all I need to see. I don't need to see 10-foot tall, jungle people who are blue. I don't need to see it, okay? Look,
if they have unobtainium, you can best believe America's coming after it.
Because this is not my show, nor my platform, I won't make a historical joke, but it's happened before. It will happen again, but not by me, okay? Not by me, all right? Listen, shout out to the stock market. Shout out to the stock market. It's never been better. We need that unobtainium. We need it. Greenland has it. We need it. We're coming to get it. Greenland, get ready. Listen, 1989, Jim Cameron's The Abyss. Now, this movie is distinct for me because I've never seen it. A lot of these movies that we cover, I've already seen it, actually. I never really discussed that, but I had never actually seen this movie. I knew that this was one of the beginning movies that had, the CGI, and we see that in the sequence, the famous sequence, where the alien is using water to communicate, I guess you could say, with the people in the submersible. And that's what gave him the impetus to go ahead and do Terminator 2 with the T-1000, okay, with Industrial Light and Magic. But I had never seen this movie. I have to say, it's a long movie. I don't think it's a slow burn. I think that the story actually moves along at pace. But it's not just about aliens. there are actually other things that are in it that, to me, are more interesting than the aliens. Long story short, the summary is this: there's a storm coming, a submarine is lost, and the military is trying to use these drillers to help them find it. No, this is not Armageddon, but they are drillers under the sea, Sebastian, and the military is trying to help them find the submersible. They tell them it's to find any survivors. However, it's really to obtain these nuclear missiles, because one of the last transmissions from the submarine was that there's an unknown craft moving at incredible speed. They assume that it's the USSR, even though they could barely afford bread. Okay, so they go down there, and their secret plan is, we're gonna get one of these missiles. If we can save any of the crew, we will. But we're gonna detonate it and kill those Russians under the ocean. We're all gonna die. Okay, but the crew thinks they're all gonna get 3 times bonuses. That's capitalism for you. Okay. In any event, the Russians are the good guys, ladies and gentlemen, in this movie, and we see aliens right at the end. So wait 2 hours and 17 minutes. And then the aliens show up. What do they look like? They look like cuttlefish, and inside is a little alien. And that's it. That's my thought. Doctor, what do you think?
I think you are correct in that this movie isn't solely about the aliens. It's about that human condition. I have seen this movie before. I once, around the time it came out, I don't think I saw it in the theater, but I definitely saw it on cable or something. And yeah, I mean, I think the story does keep pace, but I think it's still a slow burn with the story.
Mm.
There's some suspense, but it's not that heightened. There's a little bit of combat and action, but it's mainly kind of like a drama. And I think it is about the human condition. It's not so much about the alien. It's about how humans handle themselves under pressure, literally being that far into the water. And it is interesting that they kind of gave a foreshadow. Hey, sometimes people crack under this kind of pressure. Watch everyone. If they start getting the shakes, probably something's going to be wrong, and they might need to. You probably should quarantine them or something like that. And the guy with the guns got the shakes. When the guy with the guns got the shakes, it's never a good time for anybody. And you got the other. These were SEALs, I believe. You got the other SEALs, dutifully following their captain or leader, just because that's the established thing. Regardless of whether or not the thing makes sense, that's the established thing. And it definitely goes also to show, what people perceive as a threat. The guy was clearly, they clearly talked about when he was watching them, rigging the thing to kind of take pictures. We want to see these things as not a threat, as not Russian, something extraterrestrial, would be a great discovery. He's like, oh, they're to get me. Gotta nuke them, because that's America loves the nukes. So
there's no other bomb. It's just straight to the nuke.
they even, when they're talking about the destructive capacity, it's measured in levels of Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Anything but the metric system.
That Japanese horsepower.
How's that?
I said that Japanese horsepower, respectfully. That's how they measure the destructive force. Exactly. I didn't drop it. I'm just saying that's how they said it in the movie.
And so, he's like, okay, we got to blow them up. And again, this is going to be one of the greatest. This will be the greatest discovery, an intelligent life form outside of humans, right here on the same planet. And let's nuke them.
That's literally what happens in the movie too. That's what's so crazy.
And me personally, if I were, I forget the main character's name, Dutch or Duke or Doug, whatever the heck his name was. And I had found, like, he went down there, disarmed the nuke, was like, okay, got 5 minutes, I'm not making it back up. I'll just resign myself. It's nice down here. Cool. I'm with you there. Yeah. I'm with them there. Hey, I'm not, would I rather see the pretty lights and go out like that, or, start ascending and then, suffocate on my way up in darkness? I'll take the pretty lights. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
What I personally would not have done is, once I made contact, I would not have told the other humans, because there's too much history with humanity where you introduce a whole other intelligent species to humanity. I don't think it's going to end well. So I was like, you know what? I understand you're curious, but I think you should leave humans alone. You might even want to just kill me, because I could be a bad influence. So just stay down in the water. There's nothing for you up there. Trust me. But that's what I've got to say so far on this. Executive consultant, let's hear from you.
There's an old proverb that I believe in this movie. And I don't know how to verbalize it, so I'm going to visualize it for you all by putting up a picture. Here it goes. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Why do I say that? I couldn't find this movie anywhere. That should have been red flag number one. Right? I checked Netflix. I checked Hulu. I checked whatever the rest of Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, TV Plus. I checked them all. Couldn't find this movie. And normally I like to consider myself an intellectual individual. And I said to myself, hey, I wonder why I can't find this movie, right? Didn't know. Couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. I asked Spock. I asked Darth Vader here. I asked T2. I asked them all. I couldn't find them. Call the Avengers. They didn't help me. They laughed. I don't know why. Anyway, so I looked on Amazon. I'm like, Amazon usually tells me what I can do. Amazon, yeah, you have to pay for this movie, right? I was like, okay, you know what? I'm a team player. I'm going to look at this movie. So I saw 2 versions on Amazon. Okay, that's not the. I know what you do. This is what us people who are not as technically skilled as you. This is what we do. I saw 2 versions. One said a special edition, one said regular. I said, you know what? I actually like the special edition. I actually like special edition ones. So let me go ahead and see what's up with that. That special edition one said 173 minutes. 173 minutes. I said, well, what is that other one looking like? 130 something or 40 something. I was like, okay, you know what? Screw the special edition. I don't got that kind of time. So hopefully I get what I need to get out of this movie, out of the regular one. Ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly say I got everything I needed out of this movie in the first 2 minutes. This was one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life. This man over here talking about pacing. My God, I was bored in tears. I went to sleep, woke up, and only 2 minutes went by, but I felt like I got a great rest. So I went back to sleep watching this movie. So 80s. I wish Vic was here. I would say Ronald Reagan was all over this movie. That's what Vic used to say. That's what I wanted to say. Because this movie was so 80s. You had your typical chauvinistic person here who's still in a black woman here who listens to music. It was just crazy in the acting. Oh, let's how many times did somebody die and came back to life? I don't know, right? These aliens had no purpose in the movie other than be shiny. I was so frustrated in this movie. I kid you not. True story. I was so frustrated in this movie. I texted Rashad and gave him a spoiler alert of how bad this movie is and how much I'm going to crucify this movie for crucifying me. Me. I rather went to work. That's how bad this movie was. This was. The abyss needs to be thrown into the abyss. All right, it was 10,000 feet. You said, let's find something that's 30,000 30,000 feet and put it in the daggone box and toss that mofo in the ocean. 30,000 feet. Deep down where no one can find it. Not a human, not Ariel, not a alien, no one. That's all I gotta say.
Listen, this movie will inspire passion, clearly. Okay. I have more to say on this movie. Let's take a quick commercial break. What are we doing for the rest of this month? What are you doing the rest of this week? Let's go.
First, he faced their gods. Then he battled their demons. But all that was only the beginning.
He's come back.
Vampire Final Solution.
You can't win this war alone.
Who the hell are you people?
My father meant for us to help you.
Whistler's daughter. What the hell makes you think you know about hunting vampires?
Just for starters, I used to be one.
Blade Trinity.
There's nothing stopping them now.
There's me.
When someone's dead, they can't come back, can they?
That's what I thought. Are you referring to anyone in particular?
My daddy used to say, every man's got a devil. You can't rest till you find him.
Winked at me before he jumped out a fourth-floor window like he had wings.
The crow is his link between the land of the living and the realm of the dead.
So you killed the crow.
We are back. We're doing Blade part 24. Also, The Crow for Federation 2. Was it the first Blade, Chris? I'm sorry. Did I get that wrong? It wasn't the second one.
It was Blade Trinity.
The third one.
Oh, okay. Is that the most popular one? They just run through all the hits on that other show. What show do they run through all the hits on that? Which show is that on the network, Chris? Give them a shout out. Where can they watch all the top quality movies? Huh?
Wolfpack Thursday.
Well, you heard it here. Wolfpack. More like Pup Pack. The Pup Pack on Thursday is giving you what you wanted. You've been asking for quality movies, and they heard you. And they said Blade Trinity.
Which I will pick over The Abyss any day of the week.
Starring Ryan Reynolds, special guest star Chris the Hater.
Wasn't the Wolfpack the name of the group of vampires that were supposed to kill Blade in Blade 2?
Do you blush? Blade 2 was a good one. They should have did that one.
They did last week.
I don't watch that program. Listen, this is Federation Tuesdays where you get quality. Even if we hate it, we're going to give you the laughs, okay? Tonight we're doing The Abyss. What's our theme? Torture.
Damn right.
Our theme is torture, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight is The Abyss, Jim Cameron. Jim Cameron, who, as I stated earlier, works for the CIA and he knows something, okay? Also in this movie, oh, and please forgive me. Did you notice that scene when he gave us that? A couple of years ago, there were some people who went down in the submarine. And there's a scene in this movie. I gotta say, as far as Disney villains go, I thought he was just gonna fall in the dark. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand, this guy had the shakes. He had the Harlem Shake in this movie. He couldn't take any more farts in that submersible. He said, I need to get out of here and I need to kill these aliens. And I thought he was just going to fall in the darkness. Jim Cameron said, no, baby, I got something better for you. His lights went out first, one by one. Shout out to those powerful bulbs, okay, better than mine. And I said, oh, here it goes. Here's the darkness. And then his window started cracking. I said, this fool's going to drown. Jim said, wait for it. You're lucky I can't remember the name of that sub, but shout out to the actor. I forget his name, but he was in Terminator 1. He also was in Terminator 2 if you watch the extended cut. In Aliens, And also I loved him in Tombstone. He was great in that one. With also actor who just passed away, Val Kilmer, um, who was playing Doc Holliday in that movie. That was a great role that and performance that both of them gave. But I just remember that, and I remember watching. I said, "Damn, this man is like predicting everything. He's better than Miss Cleo. Miss Cleo wasn't giving us information like this. Jim probably knew the stock market was going to crash. But shout out to Jim. That's why he's a billionaire, and I'm not. Listen, can I just give you some of my favorite scenes? Okay. Shout out to the aliens in this movie who are the epitome of Irie. You know how they say, I've never been to Jamaica, but they say when you're in Jamaica, everybody's laid back. They take their time. It's not a rush. The aliens in this movie pretended they couldn't speak English for the longest time. But not only could they speak it, they could read it and write it. They knew he was dying, and they waited till he had 30 seconds of air to come get him. Did you notice that they didn't speed up not one bit till they was almost home? Did you notice that? He was on 10 seconds of air, and they're just gliding, and that's a big-ass ship. It was a long glide. Aliens who somehow even though the rest of the people in the submersible, I get Ed Harris, okay? Okay, I get Ed Harris, but the people who were in that little submersible, they didn't even have to go through that thing for like 3 weeks or whatever like that to, get the pressure out of their lungs. I forget what they call it. They just brought them up to the surface like it was nothing. These are the people, the advanced race that you needed to save from the nuclear bomb. These people knew there was a bomb there the whole time, and they didn't care. Ladies and gentlemen, those people were billionaires. They knew all around them everything was going to hell, but they had no worries. Can I be that rich, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, I can. If Jim Cameron gives me those numbers to Powerball, I can be that rich, and I can make these long movies, okay? Shout out to the cast who have said that this movie, Jim Cameron is known to be like a taskmaster and very, demanding with his actors. Shout out to the cast in this movie because they said that making this movie was like hell on earth. Okay. And Ed Harris / the assistant coach from Remember the Titans will not talk about this movie to this day. Okay. And I forget who said it, but they were like, when he would rather just go to the bottom of the ocean and just die next to some lights. I said, damn, he must have been tired as hell. You know how tired you are when he said, look, let me just cut this wire and I'm going to just lay down for this nap. Okay, that was me. I had to take a nap and then come back. They was like, yeah, we're going to record this at 7:55. I said, I need 8:05. Okay, I need 30 more minutes on this nap. I'm tired. Okay, it's hot as hell in this house. I'm tired. But look, I actually did enjoy this movie. I don't think they need those lazy aliens. Okay. But they put them in there. Spielberg has his Nazis. Jim Cameron has his aliens. Me, I don't got time or money. But anyway, I enjoy this movie. I'm going to give it, dare I say it, a thumbs up. That's not the thumbs up, but thumbs up. A lazy co-host here. Come on, Chris, you got one job tonight. Let's go. Give me the thumbs up. He's in this movie, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what's going on. There we go. There's the black thumbs up I like. All right. Chris, you can wait since you need more rest. Doctor, what do you think about this movie?
Shout out to the black woman. She survived the whole thing.
Yeah.
I will give it that. I really thought she was going to get crushed when the crane came down. Even though I'd seen it before, I didn't quite remember the ending. So I was like, oh, man, does she actually make it? Shout out to her. She was like, I'm out. I'm out the way. You ain't got to tell me. I'm already moving because I know the deal. So shout out to her and her survival instincts. Shout out to the rat. The rat made it the whole way, too. Drank the water, drank the Kool-Aid, got drowned, but didn't really drown. Had its human come rescue it instead of because it was about to get crushed. I tell you, they love their pets like they're humans.
Who are you talking about?
Those pet owners.
Oh, okay.
So shout out to that. Shout out to the vast blackness of the abyss. You know, I'm all about black, blackity black. So shout out to the black. That's why I've got this background in homage to blackity black. Now, as far as the movie as a whole, I do remember enjoying this the first time, but I think that might have been because I was just anticipating seeing the lights. You know how you can have, the kid like, oh, we're gonna go around. It's the holidays. We're gonna go around. We're gonna see all the pretty lights. You just gotta wait, until it's Christmas Eve. So they're getting all excited, getting on side, and they finally see the lights. They're content. I think that's how it was when I was younger. But older me was like, yes, it's kind of an interesting story. I'm kind of following along. I didn't go to sleep. I respected the process. I was watching, but it was not really a pleasant watch. I got what they were trying to do. It was like, okay, we've got humans in a situation under stress. How are they going to happen? What are they going to do? Is this a realistic thing? I think it is. I think that's exactly how this will play out, especially when you've got Americans and their guns and you got somebody going crazy. I think it would exactly played out like this. But as I said in the first half, if I had met the aliens, I would tell them to avoid humanity. So if I'm meeting you, our viewers, I want to tell you to avoid this movie. I cannot give it a thumbs up. It was just the second watch just made it so that I don't like it. This is one of those that I just cannot watch again. I must have blocked it out the first time I watched it because it was like, oh, just the pretty lights. But there's not a whole lot of substance here for me. I see what they were trying to do, but the execution was a bit off. So unfortunately, it will get that light skin thumbs down. Executive consultant.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're being paid to say something, so you can't use the proverb.
Yeah.
Tell us your real name, John.
It's still one of my favorite lines in a movie. Is that so?
My favorite line in the movie is I fight crime and to a soundtrack. I got to put on my headphones, and that's when I pull out a bow and arrow, and I can shoot super fast vampires. That's my favorite line from a movie.
I remember that movie well. I remember, you know what I remember about that movie? I remember watching it, and I remember enjoying it. I remember watching it again, right? Unlike The Abyss, right? Which hopefully I won't remember watching it, but I will remember not enjoying it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a spoiler alert, right? I'm going to put another picture up.
Is it really a spoiler at this point?
No, it's not. This is a picture of the entire cast of The Abyss for the most part, right? Now, typically, the person I put in my background is one of my favorite villains from the movie, and the person I was responsible for the movie as the top villain. And I almost put this up, but then I realized who really is the villain of this movie. Who is responsible for this mess? It's not James Cameron. It's not Ed Harris. It's not no name. Chris Elliott, I saw you. But it is you. You are responsible for the madness of this movie and the fact that I had to watch it.
And pay for it.
I paid for it. You begin an invoice. Next doctor heard me say this or read me say this when I texted him. I said, you know what? I'd rather watch the Batman. True words were never spoken.
I was shocked.
Rather watch the Batman than ever watch this trash again. I'm glad you're lagging. Right? This is complete trash. I wish my TV did that after I ordered this movie. I swear I've never been so disinterested in a movie. This was garbage. And you know what? I'm glad you're dead. Take us home, James.
Wait, you're on mute, James. Wait, you're still on mute, James.
He's trying to fix it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have to say something. I don't use this laptop all the time.
Oh, I didn't get my thumbs up. My bad. I was so distracted over the trash that this was a movie. Let me say, I was going to give it a thumbs down. I was going to do that. Right? But this, I think, deserves this a little bit more. Right? Because this movie is that bad. And I want to keep this movie in there with my perfectly manicured nail. I want to keep that clip in there for any time a movie is anywhere near the atrocity of The Abyss. As a matter of fact, the picture is being named The Abyss.
So this takes over to the scale. Worst movie. No more The Batman, huh?
I can't do that to the worst scale because every movie would beat this movie. Like every movie.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a lot of hate, and shout out to my computer for cutting off.
I wish my TV did that.
All right. I did not know that I would have to pay for this movie. I did not know that. I didn't know that it was 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Is that why you gave it a thumbs up? Because you paid for it?
No, you know what? You know what? Sans the alien, I enjoyed the movie. You know what I mean? If it was just about them escaping, you know, the bottom of the ocean and then the military guy goes crazy, you know what I mean? I would have enjoyed it. You know. No, I'm serious. I thought that was I wouldn't have gone to the movies to see that movie, but if I watched it on TV,
I wouldn't go to the bathroom to see that movie. It was garbage, man. It was just garbage.
Listen, I would have seen that movie, so that's why I get the thumbs up.
I'd rather watch Donald Trump sit in the old office every day and do an interview for some stupid ass reason.
You do. He's gonna give another one tomorrow, probably. You do. You already do. We're living in a mad world. All right. Now, it deserves a thumbs up for me. I wasn't happy that I had to pay the $3.99, but Chris is absolutely right. I looked everywhere before I dropped that money. And when I saw that special edition, all I knew was that meant extra minutes, and I'm not doing it, okay? Because this movie was already long enough. I'm not doing it. So shout out to Chris for reading my mind. Okay. Shout out to that great picture of me.
Can you read mine?
Put up that picture.
I can read it.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out to that great picture of me. And shout out to Rashad, who's still down there waiting for the aliens to give him some light in that background, okay? I would not have done that at all, okay? I will say this. There was almost a winner for Dummy of the Movie. Almost a winner. I'm just going to put this picture up here. She almost got the Dummy Award, but she smartened up quick. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in a small, confined area and the nut has the gun, do not come yelling at the nut.
Especially if the nut keeps their hand behind their back the entire time.
That tells me you're not as smart as you thought you were, doctor, engineer, whatever you are. You're not too smart. Unless you know how to dodge bullets, keep your mouth shut. Because she could have almost got all of them killed, and that would have earned her Dummy of the Movie. But that might be for another movie. We'll have to wait and see. Listen, for me, for the next doctor, for the executive consultant, for those misfortunate enough to watch Blade Trinity, whenever they show that episode, jeez. Come on, what are you going to...
Thursday.
You going to do Wrong Turn 6 next? Which one are you going to do after that?
The Abyss 2.
I believe it. I believe it. More Abyss. More minutes and more Abyss. All right? Oh, jeez. Well, listen, as Chris has said, and you can take him at his word, they do bangers on that show. When does that air, Chris? What day?
You're not sure.
For the audience, not for me. I've already committed.
That's fine. I'll edit out Thursday.
Oh, it is Thursday.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything to do, tune in. Watch Blade Trinity and The other classics that they come up with. What's the last one they did? Not Blade 2, but
Blade 1 was before that.
No, the last month. I know they do sequels.
They did the
always do
Superman
sequels.
movies.
Before that, did they do another sequel? You got some thinkers over there. Hey, I don't know. Chris, I got an idea. Can I put this up in the chat? How about y'all do The Land Before Time? That one has about 25 movies. You'll be booked
that was my life before I saw The Abyss. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this. I'm going to take a look here. You got so many jokes. We'll see you next time here on Popular Review Entertainment. Have a good night. Oh, my God.